Moldova, together with the European Union and the United States, is developing a plan for the reintegration of the unrecognized Transnistria region. This was stated by Deputy Prime Minister for Reintegration, Valerio Kiveni.
We are indeed actively working on a strategy or roadmap for reintegration. But, as you know, sensitive issues require caution. We need to carefully consider the steps that will yield results over time. We can't disclose every step in real time because that could be harmful.
The official added that these developments will be made public at the appropriate time. On freedom, political analyst and former member of the Moldovan parliament, Oazu Nantoy, explained what further steps the country should take on this issue.
The authorities in Chisinau need to establish a dialogue with the residents of the left bank. Those residents who understand that they are living in a trap called the Pridnestrovian Moldavian Republic, and that a shared future with the right bank in the context of European integration could provide them with guarantees for the protection of fundamental rights and freedoms, as well as the right to a normal life in a democratic country.
At the same time, Oazu Nantoy emphasized that it is impossible to negotiate with Russia.
At the negotiating table with Russia, the only talks, in quotation marks, that can be held are about the surrender of the sovereignty of the Republic of Moldova. Russia is an aggressor country. These so-called negotiations are a trap in which Moldova has been helplessly floundering for more than 30 years. And it was Russia that imposed this mistaken framework for perceiving the Transnistrian issue, as if on the left bank of the Dniester, more precisely on the left bank of the Dniester, there supposedly live people with whom we are enemies, and that Russian peacekeepers are needed so that we don't kill each other. This is an absolutely false premise, but one that benefits the Russian Federation.
Meanwhile, the government of the Republic of Moldova has announced that it is denouncing the agreement with Russia regarding cultural centers. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Moldova has already officially notified the Russian Ministry of Foreign Affairs about this. The decision will take effect 6 months after the official notification, so the agreement under which the Russian Cultural Center operates will cease to be valid on July 4th, 2026. It is known that the agreement was signed in 1998 and came into force on July 4th, 2001. It was concluded for a period of 5 years. After the expiration of the term, it was automatically extended for another 5 years. In November of this year, the government decided to terminate the agreement with Russia, as a result of which the Russian house in Chisinau is to be closed. The Minister of Culture stated that the center does not represent Russian culture, but Russian aggression. Maria Zakharova, a representative of the Russian Foreign Ministry, called this decision by Chisinau an anti-Russian initiative. Ukraine has frozen part of the assets of Transnistria's main oligarch, Viktor Gushon, who is a co-founder of the Sheriff Holding Company, according to the journalistic investigation Zona de Securitate. The decision to freeze Gushon's assets was made after the prosecutor's office determined that companies associated with him were supplying goods and services to the military-industrial complex of the Russian Federation. In particular, the cooperation was carried out through the Moldova Salute factory in the unrecognized Transnistria. The investigation also reveals the key individuals involved in this scheme, the method of creating intermediary companies in the Russian Federation, and the direct connections that likely lead to the Sheriff Holding Company. The Sheriff Holding Company has established an almost monopolistic position in Transnistria, controlling trade, the oil market, telecommunications, and the media. Viktor Gushon's fortune is estimated at $2 billion, according to various sources.
Moldova is preparing to restore control over Transnistria. The country has developed a plan for restoring unity, which provides for the gradual reintegration of Transnistria by peaceful means. The Moldovan government presented this document in Brussels. According to the plan, the main prerequisite for the successful return of control over Transnistria is named as the complete demilitarization and democratization of this region, which is under Russian control and where the so-called operational group of Russian forces is stationed. The document emphasizes that the process must be based on a strict and firm adherence to Moldova's sovereignty, within the borders as they stood on June 23, 1990. An important element of the plan is the involvement of an international civilian mission or administration which will be overseeing security issues. The administration should replace the Russia-controlled separatists in Transnistria and gradually transfer authority in the region to Moldova's central government after the disarmament measures have been implemented. Chisinau has proposed a system of guarantees for the residents of the region, including the right to citizenship and amnesty for officials not involved in human rights violations. For economic reintegration, the introduction of unified fiscal, customs, and trade regulations is planned. Social benefits for the residents of Transnistria must remain at a level no lower than what existed before reintegration. The presentation of this plan in Brussels is connected to the fact that the reunification of the country should take place with consideration for Moldova's European integration. The document allows for a scenario in which EU law on the territory of Transnistria would be temporarily suspended during Moldova's official accession to the European Union. Let us recall that at the end of last year, at the time the head of the main intelligence directorate of the Ministry of Defense and now the head of the President's office, Kirilo Budanov, stated that Ukraine has enough strength to radically resolve the Transnistria issue, which remains a source of Russian influence and a potential threat. However, such a solution lies in the realm of complex geopolitics.
A Russian Shahed drone fell in Moldova. It was discovered 500 meters from the border. The Moldovan police reported that the drone is active and contains an explosive device. Law enforcement officers are assessing the threat and taking the necessary actions to determine all the circumstances and neutralize the warhead of the aerial vehicle. Local residents from the incident area will be evacuated. The information about the Russian UAV was confirmed by the President of Moldova, Maia Sandu, who stated,
"This represents a grave and serious violation of our national airspace and poses a direct threat to our citizens. Russia has repeatedly violated our national sovereignty and continues to endanger the lives of our people."
Earlier, an environmental alert was issued in Moldova. After Russia's strike on the Dniester hydro plant, toxins leaked into the river. Consequently, Moldova's foreign ministry summoned the Russian ambassador and issued a formal protest. Based on the photos released by the ministry, during the meeting the ambassador was also given a bottle of water from the Dniester. Moldova has already imposed restrictions on the use of water from the Dniester. The city of Balci suffered the most. Its central water supply has been temporarily shut down. To provide the population with water, 25 tankers with a total volume of more than 95 tons have been sent to the city. To contain the spread of contamination, the authorities are installing protective barriers and using filtration systems. Fishing is also prohibited in certain areas. According to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the Dniester is a key source of water for about 80% of the country's population. The General Prosecutor's Office of Moldova has ordered a criminal case to be opened to investigate the circumstances that led to the contamination of the Dniester. An environmental alert has been declared in Moldova. President Maia Sandu announced a threat to the country's water supply after Russia's strike on the Dniester hydroelectric power station.
As a result of the Russian strike on Ukraine's Novodnestrovsk hydroelectric power station, oil entered the Dniester River, putting Moldova's water supply at risk. We have declared an environmental alert and are taking measures to protect our population. Russia bears full responsibility.
After the missile and drone attack by the Russian Federation on Ukraine, patches of technical oils were discovered on the Dniester River. According to the Ministry of Economy, Environment and Agriculture of Ukraine, preliminary data suggests that the pollution of the Dniester may be linked to a leak of rocket fuel in the area of the Dniester hydroelectric power station, which occurred as a result of the Russian Federation's attack on March 7th. Also, on the night of March 14th, during a Russian shelling of Ukraine, a Russian Shahed drone violated Moldova's airspace. This was reported by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of the Republic of Moldova. The agency stated that such incidents are a serious violation of the country's sovereignty and territorial integrity. Furthermore, such incidents undermine the country's security and pose a threat to its citizens.
The Republic of Moldova strongly condemns these actions and categorically denounces the aggressive war that the Russian Federation is waging against Ukraine, which brings immense suffering, loss of life, and widespread destruction to Ukraine, and significantly undermines regional security, directly threatening the safety of the citizens of the Republic of Moldova as well.
Let us recall that on the night of March 14th, Russia carried out one of the largest scale attacks on Ukraine. According to official military reports, during the course of the night, Russian forces launched 68 missiles of various different types and more than 400 individual drones at the territory.